What's up, you guys? How we doing? I'm Herbal, and I'm back. Haha! Alright. So, on a serious note, I'm here. I'm queer, as in happy, and get used to it. Let's start with this sex cult. The case of, or the sex cult of Lawrence Ray.
Your time in college is often referred to as the best years of your life. It's supposed to be a time
I
of
wouldn't
learning,
know. I never went.
not just about your chosen academic topic, but about yourself too. Many young students leave their parents and their hometowns and experience the first taste of independence on the cusp of adulthood. This period in our lives leaves us vulnerable. We struggle to fit in and find our place in unfamiliar surroundings. But if there was one place for those who feel that way, it was Sarah Lawrence College. I often call the college the land of broken toys.
Sarah
One of the
Lawrence
school's slogans
College.
is, "We're different, so are you." This is a quality of Sarah Lawrence College that one man exploited to create what has all the hallmarks of a cult on campus in late 2010. My name's Elizabeth Rome. I'm an actress and a proud Sarah Lawrence College graduate. Composed from thousands of pages of transcripts, exhibits, audio files, first-hand accounts, and contemporary research, this long crime production uses voice actors to give you an immersive insight into one of the most bizarre cases in recent memory. This is Devil in the Dorm. From the moment they woke up to the sound of a bugle, they were at Larry's beck and call. This clip is from a video later
bugle?
presented at trial. The video shows some of the young students being jolted awake on their air mattresses in the apartment. Other times, Larry played Baba O'Reilly by The Who. Even if you don't recognize it by name, you probably know the classic rock song through one line crooned by Pete Townsend. Don't cry, don't raise your eye, it's only a teenage wasteland. To his captive audience of late teenagers and early 20-somethings, the message of that chorus was unmistakable. Their lives were worthless. They were the wasteland. They were a void to be filled with Larry's ideas, teachings, directives, and demands.
This week on Brian Ross Investigates, Cult Justice, shocking videos from inside a college cult. College students beaten, tortured, forced into sadistic sex acts, all coming out in court in the trial of an alleged cult leader who targeted his daughter's campus friends, using mind games to control them.
Did you in fact poison me?
Yes, absolutely.
Leading experts say college students at campuses across the country are being targeted by cults. We're joined by one of the leading authorities on the subject.
They believe that what they're doing is for the greater good, whatever that might be.
And this week's winners and losers in the media. See if you agree with the choices made by Brian Ross, joined as always by my colleague Rhonda Schwartz. And Rhonda, we begin tonight with Cult Justice, the chilling, bizarre story that's been unfolding in a federal courtroom here in New York about what can only be described as a sex cult on a college campus run by the father of one of the students, Larry Ray. A jury has now found him guilty on all counts for what prosecutors said was the use of his sway over his daughter's friends and fellow students at Sarah Lawrence College to brainwash them, brutalize them, and turn them into sex objects. Rhonda?
That's right, Brian. During the trial, jurors heard firsthand from the students themselves and saw videos that show how Ray operated with threats and violence. And a warning to our viewers, these videos you're about to see are very graphic.
Wow.
I need to go to the hospital.
I'm going to send you to the hospital.
The graphic videos include Ray assaulting one of his cult members, Felicia Rosario.
I want to go to the bed. I want to go to the bed.
Please, come on. Come here. Listen. You gotta sit down on the floor.
I don't want to sit.
Alicia, lay down.
What the fuck?
Leonard, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me, Leonard. Please, God. Leonard, please don't leave me. Leonard.
Okay.
Oh.
Then Then the video, shot by another cult member, shows the young woman sobbing in Ray's lap.
Bruh, this creepy. Well, he's more than creepy. He's a fucking cult leader. He started a fucking cult in this college. No, this isn't domestic. You know, it kind of looks like it. He's right now in an apartment with like maybe 30 other fucking of his like pupils. I don't know. What do you call like cult members? He's the cult leader.
Okay, but I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down, sir. I need you to calm down. Okay.
Prosecutors say this student, Claudia Drury, was forced into prostitution by Ray after he made this video to get her to falsely confess she had tried to poison him.
Did you in fact poison me?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I did.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I came up four times, I think, or 3 times, but every time I poisoned you.
Another video shows Ray putting a pair of pliers on the tongue of a student he was unhappy with, Daniel Levine.
Do you think I'm playing with you? Huh? Son? You're a grown man, I'm a grown man. I don't like what you did. You hear me? Now one more time and I'm going to split your tongue in half. Do you understand me?
No. Yeah. Yes.
All
Wow.
very shocking. We're joined now by Adam Kraft.
Fucking wow, bruh. Yeah, 60 years.
Editor of lawandcrime.com, and
Larry would also instruct the members of the group to have sex with each other under the guise of helping them shed their inhibitions. Photographs admitted as evidence at Larry Ray's trial show Felicia, Yelitsa, and Claudia working with heavy machinery in terrible conditions. Videos taken under Larry's instructions in November 2013 document incidents between himself and Felicia and her declining mental state.
Please.
I've been asking you to stop breaking stuff and stop hurting me and attacking me physically, and you refuse. Get out of my garage.
Please.
Get out. Get out of my garage. Please leave my garage. I've been asking you all morning. You've wasted 2.5 hours.
I love you, Larry, still.
That's irrelevant.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
I love
fine.
you
That's
too.
good. That's good. Now stop.
I love you still.
Well, then show me you do. What you're
Oh,
doing
no.
isn't loving.
Okay, fine. Can I get a hug, please?
No.
Please.
You need to respect other people's words. I don't want to.
I want to.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter.
No, it matters that you want to. That's your choice. But the other person
I want
has
to
want
rest.
to
I
too.
love you too. I love you
But
now.
the other
And I love
person-
you now.
Bruh, he's got them so fucking brainwashed. Like, holy shit.
Too. And I'll behave better now. Because I don't want the other years to do that. I want them to be happy too. I want the other to go to law school. And I want the other to go to Columbia.
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm really angry.
Angry about what?
And Maritza.
Who is Maritza?
She is my mother.
By the time the group left Pinehurst in late 2013, Santos had sent over $40,000 to Larry, and Yelitsa Rosario had attempted to take her own life. Back in New York, Larry continued to pit the
Wow.
siblings against each other and hold them responsible for the other's actions. In January 2014, when Larry wanted Felicia to stop talking, he instructed Santos to hit himself in the face until she did.
Stop making
No!
Stop
Yes,
making
I'm
noise.
done!
That's how much you love me? That's how
Yes!
much Yes! Yes!
Stop
yes.
it!
Stop making noise.
I want to get up!
Stop making noise, Felicia.
Yeah, fine!
Stop making noise.
Yes!
Stop making
Okay!
noise. This is how much you love me, huh?
Yes!
Yeah, clearly.
A few
Wow.
weeks later, Santos attempted suicide. When he was released, Larry waited just 2 weeks before threatening to finish him off. Larry recorded his torment on audio tape.
Bruh, this dude is a fucking monster. How can you let someone come in and just like manipulate you to this point?
as he threatened to kill Santos with a hammer and encouraged Santos and Felicia to hold hands and jump out of the window from the high-rise apartment.
Give me my hammer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like, okay, so from what I know, what a lot of cult leaders tend to do is they tend to go in and meet a need that usually a group of people, I guess depending on how small, I guess it doesn't matter how small the group is, like meet a need that is missing in each one of their lives, right? Whether it's a father figure, whether it's something like religion-wise, right? Whether it's God himself. That's why a lot of cult leaders end up being that God figure, because that's what they try, that's what they're trying to fill the shoes of, right? That's who they're trying to emulate. That's what they're trying to be in the lives of their cult members, is God. So, but I don't know enough about the situation. Like, I wonder how he came at it.
I swear I'll put street
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand.
Oh, I'll kill you. I'll break your whole body. I swear I will.
No, I know.
Mine is very simple. You just leap like a frog. Why don't you hold hands, jump together? So cute.
That's work.
How cute that would be if you both jump.
In audio recordings presented at the trial, Talia can be heard joining her father in threatening Santos and calling him a violent criminal who would be sent to jail for supposedly destroying her father's property.
Just for destroying all the property you did, you would fall in the category of a violent criminal.
Yes.
Listening to these audio tapes, is
Wow.
it any wonder that Larry's followers believed Ray to be a man capable of anything? Or that they believed that there would be terrible consequences if they did not tell him what he wanted to hear?
Straight ahead on Law and Crime Daily, the Sarah Lawrence sex cult scandal.
Isabella Pollack was the only co-defendant that prosecutors charged with Larry Ray in the sensational college sex cult case.
Law and Crime's Adam Klasfeld is at the federal courthouse as Isabella Pollack enters a plea. And could Elizabeth Holmes receive a new trial? Why the convicted fraudster says...
Welcome, everybody, to Law and Crime Daily. I'm Jesse Weber, in for Brian Buckmeyer. Larry Ray's only co-defendant in the so-called...
God, those are some fucking names, aren't they?
...called Sarah Lawrence sex cult case pleads guilty to her role in the scheme. Law and Crime Network managing editor Adam Klasfeld was in the courtroom when Isabella Pollack entered a plea.
This is the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Courthouse in the background, where just hours earlier, 15 stories high, we had the sole co-defendant in the Larry Ray Sarah Lawrence sex cult case plead guilty to a charge of conspiring against the United States by laundering Larry Ray's money. The object of the money laundering conspiracy was hiding the proceeds of sex trafficking and extortion. And Isabella Pollack, 31 years old, admitted to that count in court. Isabella Pollack was the only co-defendant that prosecutors charged with Larry Ray in the sensational college sex cult case. One of Larry Ray's victims, Claudia Drury, testified that she made $2.5 million in enforced prostitution, had to turn over the proceeds to Larry Ray, and Isabella Pollack, by her guilty plea today, admitted to being part of that conspiracy to extort Larry Ray's victims and to sexually traffic Claudia.
Oh, so they were also extorting the victims afterwards. Interesting. All right, so that could explain the 2.5 million, although that's still a lot of fucking money. Let me see. Let's see the testify.
Straight ahead on Law and Crime Daily. From the Olympic to Law and Crime Daily, I'm Brian Buckmeyer along with Terry Austin.
Oh, look, there's Brian Buckmeyer. He's here
showing
today.
More about what went on behind the curtain of the Sarah Lawrence sex cult, as the group's alleged leader, Lawrence Ray, stands trial on federal charges. Ray is facing several federal charges, including racketeering.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did not expect Brian Buckmeyer to be a black man. Is that a racist of me?
On federal charges. Ray is facing several federal charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and money laundering, among others. It all stems from Ray allegedly starting the Ray family after he moved in with his daughters Talia's on-campus housing at Sarah Lawrence College back in 2010. Over the next 10 years, Ray allegedly used manipulation and fear tactics to gain control of Talia's college friends. His alleged victims initially saw Ray as a father figure, but those who have testified so far say they soon saw a different side of him. Cameras aren't allowed in federal court, but several publicly released court exhibits are giving more insight to the testimony and what happened over the last 10 years, including a rare one showing Ray allegedly using violence against Daniel Levin, one of Ray's alleged victims, who also wrote a memoir about his time as a Ray family cult member.
So you're trying to pull back now, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I don't. I did the comment stuff like back around the time of like the Mitt Romney blog, like way back, like months ago.
You're trying to parse again. Why can you tell?
I'm being honest though.
Come here, Tom. Stick it out. Stick your fucking Stick next is gonna be the head of you. Do you understand?
Wow,
See this
dude.
how it feels? What if I pick you up like that? Can I pick you up by your tongue? Huh? Do you think I'm playing with you? Huh? Huh? You're a grown man. I'm a grown man. I don't like what you did. You hear me? Now one more time, and I'm going to split your tongue in half. Do you understand me?
Oh. Yeah. Yes.
You don't start telling the truth. I spent good money to find out these facts, you little piece of shit. And I'm telling you, listen to me. Listen to me. Don't f around with lying now. Tell the truth. Next thing's gonna be out is your f***ing balls. Did you like that the other night when your balls were getting strangulated?
No.
Huh? What should I do to them tonight?
Law and Crime's Adam Classfeld is spending the duration of this trial inside the courtroom. He has details on Tuesday's continued testimony from another one of Ray's alleged victims, Felicia Rosario.
Felicia Rosario's testimony has just started into cross-examination. The direct examination concluded this morning with a bit of a surprising allegation that goes to the money laundering count. The government claims that some of the enterprise money from Larry Ray's alleged criminal enterprise went through to Rosario, who in turn donated it to Larry's daughter, Talia Ray, who at the time was working for the North Carolina Democratic Party. So they are essentially, the government is alleging that this money passed through political donations. So that was the end of direct examination. We're starting to get into the world of cross-examination. We don't know how much longer Felicia Rosario will be on the witness stand, or whether other victims are going to testify.
Wait, they laundered the money through the Democratic Party. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I guess that would make sense. The Republicans say that the fucking left is nothing but fucking sex cults and fucking trans women. And you know what? This does nothing but support their point.
We have heard the name,
which
at
is
the
false,
trial,
by
for
the
example, Dan Levin. We're not sure whether or not he will take the stand, but we have seen and heard much about him throughout this trial. It has been quite a journey for many of them to go from his orbit to a federal court witness stand.
Joining us today is criminal defense.
It's a fucking orbit to be in. All right. All right, let's see the verdict. Breaking news.
Welcome back to the Long Crime Trial Network. I'm Allison Hall. We do have breaking news this afternoon. A verdict has been reached in the Sarah Lawrence sex cult case here in New York City. The 62-year-old defendant, Lawrence Ray, is found guilty on a 15-
What a fucking surprise.
15-count indictment of federal crimes related to the manipulation and extortion of a group of his daughter's Sarah Lawrence college friends after living in her on-campus housing back in 2010. Just a few of his original 17 charges include racketeering,
No, not
extortion,
yet.
sex trafficking, forced labor, and money laundering. 2 counts were dropped by friends after living in her on-campus housing back in 2010. Just a few of his original 17 charges include racketeering, extortion, sex trafficking, forced labor, and money laundering. 2 counts were dropped by the end of the trial for tech.
I like how it seems as though each one of the pictures is correlated to a charge, but it's not. It just has nothing to do with anything.
17 charges include racketeering.
Like, why is this a racketeering charge? It's just 2 people laying together.
Extortion.
Extortion is just like an empty drawer.
Sex trafficking.
Why did you make her the face of sex trafficking?
Forced labor and
then this guy's the face of forced labor. Here's the thing. From what I saw, she was doing the labor. I saw her with the heavy machinery. I'll start downloading it later.
money laundering. 2 counts were dropped by the end of the trial for technical reasons. He faces life in prison for his alleged crimes. Law and Crime's very own Adam Klasfeld has spent the duration of this federal trial inside the courtroom. He joins us now with all of the details. Adam, how are you doing? What's the scene like down there?
Well, it is the coda of a long and harrowing trial. In the back of the courtroom, 3 of Ray's victims were spotted, the Rosario siblings, Felicia Rosario, Santos Rosario, and Yalitza Rosario, who were spotted holding hands in the back of the courtroom as everyone was awaiting the verdict. And the verdict came out. 15 counts charged against him that the jury was there to consider, 15 counts of conviction. And you started rattling some of them off, Allison. Racketeering, sex trafficking, extortion, forced labor, money laundering,
sex trafficking,
and other financial crimes. It was a resounding verdict, and it showed that the jury only needed a few hours to consider the overwhelming evidence against Ray, much of it of his own making. As I have said before on the program, prosecutors discovered thousands of files that...
Because, like, he was holding the camera himself. He was recording all the shit. How fucking stupid are you?
Ray personally stored of the confessions that he forced out of his young victims. They would confess to out there infractions such as poisoning him or damaging his property or colluding with his enemies, all to extract payments ranging from the hundreds of thousands of dollars, even to the millions of dollars, to his sex trafficking victim, Claudia Drury, who testified that she worked 7 days a week, seeing up to 5 men a day, working on her birthdays, holidays, in order to keep the money flowing to Ray, who then had that money funneled through his followers into a GoDaddy account for internet domains. He never sold the domains. A jury quickly found that was money laundering. And so the prosecutors had a validation that they got it exactly right.
What the fuck kind of convoluted? All right, you gonna hoe, and you gonna give me all the money, and then I'm gonna buy GoDaddy accounts. And it's like, what the fuck? This sounds like some very intricate and crazy bullshit. But also, I guess when you have that kind of hold over these people, you can tell them to do whatever, and they're gonna do it.
This mammoth indictment where they described Ray as a crime boss in summations. The racketeering charge, of course, typically used to clamp down on organized crime, and that's what prosecutors say.
Damn, bro, they got him with a RICO charge.
In Sarah Lawrence College.
Wow. And what was the defendant's reaction when this verdict came down?
He didn't really betray much of a reaction, and I have to say, it really wasn't much of a surprise. The verdict coming that quickly in a case with such overwhelming evidence.
Duh.
I don't think anyone expected when a verdict came in that it was going to be 15 counts of acquittal. It was overwhelming evidence, and it quickly was pronounced after after the foreperson handed the verdict. It was recited aloud after Judge Lyman had him face the jury. Betrayed no emotion as those counts of conviction were rattled off. Now it goes to the sentencing, which will be in September.
Which will be right now.
Right now, another case we want to take a look at. Fascinating case. Let's say you just got out of prison. You're in prison for fraud. You pick up the phone. Your daughter's going to Sarah Lawrence. Hey, honey, I got no place to go. I got no place to live. Can I come hang out and bunk with you and your co-ed roomies? Sure, Dad.
Okay, I don't need to hear your telling of this.
Sentenced to 60 years in prison.
Wait.
Here, what happened in court? What was this guy sentenced to?
Larry Ray was sentenced to 60 years imprisonment. He is 63 years old, so that is effectively a life sentence for him.
63,
and it was
60
for
years.
Crimes that, in the judge's description, were evil, that were acts of unspeakable cruelty. And we heard about those acts and saw them throughout the trial in reams of videos, audio evidence. 3 of his victims spoke, 2 in person, 1 through a representative, and they described just some of the horrific abuse that they lived through. Whether one of them, Daniel Levin, had his testicles squeezed with a garrote. Another one was punched in the stomach with a sledgehammer. A same victim, Daniel Levin, and Larry Ray.
He's just been beating the shit out of this one guy from what I can see. Like, he's just been grabbing his tongue with fucking pliers, just fucking whipping him with fucking hammers. Like, goddamn.
They used a set of pliers to pull his tongue. Another victim who didn't appear in court because she wanted to move on with her life was Larry Ray's sex trafficking victim, Claudia Drury, saying that she'd spent years in a nearly catatonic state, that she was sex trafficked by Larry Ray to the tune of $2.5 million and spent years essentially in his thrall and delivering very moving statements through her representative. I mentioned Daniel Levin earlier. He teared up frequently during his remarks, detailing what he lived through. Folks might be aware of him through a memoir that he wrote about his time in what has often been called Larry Ray's sex cult. The book was called Slotem Woods 9, named after the communal dorm where he met and eventually exploited his daughter's friends and roommates. There was Santos Rosario, one of 3 siblings who Larry Ray victimized. And he was, like his 2 sisters, all 3 attempted suicide. He talked about his feelings of feeling valueless, feeling worthless, and how Larry Ray cultivated that to make him feel in his debt and to make him eventually turn over hundreds of thousands of dollars to Larry Ray. Money.
So he exploited these kids, sexually abused these kids, physically abused these kids. Fucking flush the toilet. Also, his or flush him down the toilet. Also, his co-defendant got charged too, or got.
Remember Lawrence Ray? It was a
convicted as well.
disgusting case in federal court. Our own Adam Classfield had covered.
Okay, let's skip past Joe Behart.
Ground where just hours earlier, 15 stories high, we had the sole co-defendant in the Larry Ray, Sarah Lawrence sex cult case plead guilty to a charge of conspiring against the United States by laundering Larry Ray's money. The object of the money laundering...
Okay, I don't think we get her charged. I don't think we get her time. All right, well, I guess that was Larry Ray. Yeah, this was rough. Fuck, I did not expect a fucking whole sex cult to be popping off.